serendipitous.
Serendipitous? I dig that. I'll buy that.
I don't know. Matthew, what were you going to say?
Aren't you the Marine?
I never was on a boat. I was on
How
a
can
land.
you be a Marine and never be on a boat? Isn't that,
I think
Navy boys, they drive you around?
I mean, I stepped on a ship once, but it was named after a president. We don't need to go there.
I was going to say we could name it after our not other Matt, so we could have named it Liardi or something like that.
Yeah! The Liardi.
I like that. The Liardi.
So he's here with us in spirit.
Awesome.
Okay, so at the top of it, instead of a mermaid, can we have like a very like burly redheaded looking like man face?
Of course we can.
Yes.
So excellent. I like that a lot, actually.
Sorry, John. I just like derailed your brain.
No, you did not. I was like, oh yeah, that is that's awesome. So the captain of the Liardi, I'm going to let you guys come up with. I'm not going to say anything about the captain at all, other than there is a captain of Liardi. I'm not going to say their gender or anything else. So you all get to decide. So, Matthew, you start. What is the first thing that's true about the captain of the Liardi?
He's got a hard accent that's kind of hard to distinguish between. If you're not really paying attention, you're not probably going to figure out what he's saying to you.
So the captain has a hard accent that's difficult to read. That's awesome.
Right.
Karis, what do you want to say about the captain? You can say anything you want, including what nation they're from, what their gender is, anything at all. You're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry, it's because it got kind of loud here.
That's okay.
So the captain is actually blind, but he has a big parrot bird thing on his shoulder that I notice whispers to the captain. So I have a sense that the parrot, it directs the captain. Sorry, you said anything. You should never say anything to Karis because this is what happens.
That is fantastic. I love that. That's really cool. Let's see. Vicky, what is the next thing that's true about the captain?
Captain has a fetish for lingerie.
Yes. I love us.
From a particular nation, like Montaigne lingerie or Vodace. Well, Vodace lingerie would be interesting, but from a particular nation or just in general?
Yeah, Montaigne. Let's go with that.
Okay. I think we've kind of established that the captain is male because everybody keeps saying he. So awesome. All right. Let's see. Vicky, Matt, did you get to say something?
Yeah, the harsh accent.
That's right. And Alicia, what is the last thing that is true about the captain?
He wears women's clothing.
He does wear women's clothing.
He doesn't like pants, so he's always wearing...
He doesn't like pants.
Yeah, so he's always wearing like a dress type or a skirt type or more flowing instead of form-fitted.
So I'm going to assume, since none of you did, I get to say, so we went around the circle. Now it's my turn. I get to say something about the captain. I'm going to say the captain is from Innismore. So I want you guys to picture Brad Pitt from Snatch.
Ah! In a dress.
In a dress.
And a parrot. Okay.
You like dogs?
Oh, I love this. It's great.
So the captain is barking orders, and no one's really sure what the captain is saying. However, the bosun, who is in charge of the crew directly, the bosun is interpreting what the captain says, and it has everybody running around. A lot of you are on your way down to Montaigne to try to get help for your prince friend. When you As you're sailing along, up in the top of the masts, one of the crewmen, his name is Long Tall Harry, and he's from Avalon. And Harry is about 6'6". He's got a huge thing of hair on the top of his head, and he is made of rubber. He bends in ways that you're like, how can? It's like every joint is double jointed, and he's the captain of the tops. He's the person who's in charge of the rigging of the ship. And Harry shouts down. He says, "Oi, Captain! There appears to be smoke on the horizon." And all of you look off the starboard bow, or the larboard bow, because it's not starboard yet. Take a look off the larboard bow, and indeed there is a column of smoke coming from the horizon. And the captain shouts out in inconceivable, a cryptic order, and the ship lists towards the larboard over to the south. And what you find is a great Vidace merchant ship that is on fire. So,
oh man. Does the captain, is the parrot telling the captain that it's on fire? Would we scream that it's on fire? Because since our captain is blind.
well, the captain can smell, so he can smell that the ship is on fire. Also, you can feel the heat from the flames. So, do you want to? The bosun is thinking about the bosun's name is Carpenter. Oliver Carpenter. He's the bosun. And he's looking at you and he's like, I don't know. It's a Vidace merchant ship, which means it's loaded with cargo, but it's about to go up at any moment. Do we risk going over to try and raid the cargo hull?
There are people that needs to be saved there.
Well, you don't see anybody. As a matter of fact, you see that there's a whole bunch of dead bodies, burned corpses on the deck of the ship. What do you want to do?
I mean, we're gonna nickname my girl Cena, and she's all about it. I mean, why not? We're on the sea, right?
Yep.
So, when at sea,
it's fair salvage. The ship is on fire.
I'm all about it.
Anybody else want to join her leaping across to the other side?
I mean, she's got great athletics, so I feel like it's something that she could do. Maybe I'm strong and I can help hoist us over there, swim back.
Yep.
And I'm from Vidace, so I certainly, and I have no athletics, and I'm wearing a skirt with a bustier, so I'm really not going to be the one to be jumping and all of that, but I can help people know exactly where to go on the ship in order to get to the cargo, and so I can help, so that makes it quicker rather than people kind of searching around trying to figure out where it is.
So
I got what you're picking. So
Karis, what you can actually do is you can make a wits. You could make. I'm going to give you. You can do what you like. You could make a wits plus sailing roll. Do you have any sailing?
No, I really suck at a lot of things, but wits I'm pretty good at. I got pretty good wits. Yeah, I don't have any sailing, but I do have 1, 2, 3, 4 for wits.
Okay. Well, you have scholarship?
No, I'm dumb as a rock. I got wits, but I'm dumb as a rock. No, yes, I've got maybe wits and hold on. What is ride? What is that one? Is that like riding a
Ride
horse?
is riding horses or carriages and
No
things
good
like that.
there. Yeah, what about wits and convince, maybe? Or some convincing.
Yeah, you know
I
what?
have
I'll
to
let you,
do?
because what you're going to do is you're going to be ordering sailors around and telling them where to go on the ship. I totally buy that. That can be your approach.
Okay.
Vicky, do you want to jump across on the other side and, see if you can find any treasure?
Yeah, I will do that. I will be looking for treasure and/or wounded people.
Ah, that's right, because you're the doctor.
I'm the doctor. So I will use finesse and I guess scholarship again. And scholarship would tell me what I know about
What you
things.
know about things. So that includes, and I'm going to stretch a little bit, but that also includes like what would be on a ship.
Right.
Normally that would be sailing, but we're going to stretch a little bit because we're having fun.
Okay.
Matthew, do you want to jump across? And if you do, what's going to be your approach to the scene?
I've got absolutely no athletics, but I definitely would probably like to get on the opposite side, as I've got good brawn and I could help toss over whatever we get from that ship. But yeah, so it'd probably be some kind of brawn attempt.
Okay.
But I'm not sure which. Maybe brawn warfare, as I'm a former soldier who was probably used to raiding other ships.
I'll
like
buy
this.
that.
I,
All right. So does everybody have the dice they're going to be using for their approach? If you do, go ahead and roll them and then tell me how many raises you get.
Five, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. Why can't I count?
Oh, by the way, does anybody want to spend a hero point? Remember, you can spend it on yourself for 1 die, or you can spend it on somebody else for 3.
Can I check on something and make sure I'm doing this right? So that
Sure.
the numbers that I put together must equal 10, but not more than 10. Like 10 exactly.
They can be more than 10. Yes,
Okay, great.
they can be more.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
Ooh.
So, for example, if you have an 8 and a 9, you can add that together for a 10.
What? That means I would have got 6 last time. I didn't know that.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, winning.
G.I. Joe.
I like you. I love.
How many raises did you get, Alicia?
I got 4.
Awesome. Matthew, how many raises did you get?
3.
3. Karis, you got 4? Vicky, how many raises did you get?
5.
5.
Ooh,
Okay.
girl.
Vicky,
Get it,
you have the
girl.
most raises. Who goes next?
Yeah.
Well, Alicia, because she's the one that wants to jump over first.
Cool. So Cena is gonna just dive into the ocean and start swimming and looking back and swimming and looking back and smiling.
Where is the boat?
Yeah, that's my next question. I've already jumped in the water. How far am I from the next boat?
You swashbuckle it across, right?
You're at the boat.
Sweet. Okay, so she's gonna climb up the boat.
Yep.
And so I used my finesse, and then I used my athletics. So do I swim pretty?
You
And
swim
then
very pretty.
Do I shimmy up the boat prettily?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so that's that would be 1, right? That's 1 raise that I'd use to get to the boat. Is that how that works?
No, you getting to the boat isn't too big a deal. It's like, yeah, you get to the boat because the action is on the boat, so I want you on the boat.
Okay.
So
Okay,
I'm not going to make you spend raises to get to the boat.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll say you all can find things on the boat, or say things about the boat or ship. I should say it's a ship. Each of them costs 1 raise if it falls under your approach, and it costs 2 raises if it falls outside your approach. So the things you can find is you can find treasure. You could find the captain's log, which is incredibly valuable. You can find charts and maps. You can find crew that are alive, that are still alive, because it looks like most everybody's dead. Whatever you guys want to find, you can find on the boat. And it costs you 1 raise if it falls under your approach, and 2 raises if you spend it outside your approach. So Alicia,
Okay.
go for
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so Cena is going to like bob and weave and try to get below deck to the captain's quarters.
Okay, you're in the captain's quarters. So here's a rule that that I do in the game is I can buy people's raises for hero points. And I offer you a hero point and I say I want to use your raise to say that you find something. And if you say yes, you get the hero point. I will use a Coke cap for my hero, for offering you a hero point. So Alicia, can I buy your raise and tell you what you find?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So you get a hero point.
Thank you.
You find a young Vodache woman alive with a terrible gash across her forehead.
Oh shit.
And she is unconscious.
Hold on, let me check my advantages real quick.
Well, that's your raise. So Vicky, it's your turn to go.
Oh
Hey,
god.
there's somebody wounded on the other side of the ship.
Hey, I'm gonna go to the captain's quarters. I'm gonna follow her.
Awesome. So in the captain's quarters is the woman with the young Vodache woman with a terrible gash on her forehead.
Okay, I'm gonna use my doctoring skills and
Yep. So you have Miracle Worker, which is an advantage that allows you to heal dramatic wounds. So you kneel over her, you put some medicine on the thing, you put a bandage around her head, and she's still unconscious, but she's stopped bleeding and she's gonna survive now. So that costs 1 raise. So you still have the most raises. Who goes next?
Matthew.
Matthew.
I'm gonna go across, assuming that I've a soldier who's done this plenty of times before, to probably go to the captain's quarters for that captain's log, knowing that those are one of the most valuable things to do.
So because you're like a soldier, you bring a bunch of the Marines with you
Yeah.
over to the ship. And so you essentially have, in this game, we have what are called brute squads, which are unnamed guards. So when you guys were taking out the guards in the burning room, those are essentially brute squads. So you have a brute squad with you. They have 1 action, which you can use to have them guard you from taking damage. So be aware of that, just in case. So what are you going to do when you get to the captain's quarters? What do you find? Tell me what you find.
I find the captain's log with a page ripped out of it, maybe?
With a page ripped out of it. That's awesome. Yes. So that costs you 1 raise.
Okay.
Vicky, you still have the most raises. Who goes next?
Karis.
Karis, what are you going to do?
So I take the bullhorn, of which there's a giant bullhorn.
Oh yeah.
And because there's a squad over there, I've got Alicia and Vicky and Matthew over there, and the brute squad. I start yelling across, and I know what they found. They're kind of like, kind of all, yay, look what we found, a book with no page, and the Dante girl with wound. And so I know exactly what's going on. And so I yell across, the captain always hides the page under the girl's skirt. It's there, the girl with the head wound. That's why they hit her. Go get the page from the girl's skirt. And they find it.
Indeed. So she had a page like shoved down her corset.
Okay, corset, skirt. I was just,
Yeah.
I was thinking hem of skirt, trying to keep them off her bodily parts. That would be me. But whatever, they find it. right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Vicky, who goes next?
I will, and I will start making my way to um, get her off the ship.
Okay, do you want to spend a raise to say she and I are safely off the ship?
Yes.
Because you can do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you get her back to the other ship, and when you do, she wakes up. And she's looking around, and her eyes are very big, and she looks very confused. Are you from Vodache?
Yes.
All right. She speaks in Vodache, and she looks at you and she says, "Where am I?"
You're safe.
And her eyes go from very confused and frightened to suddenly like turning a coin, very skeptical. And she says, "Where am I?"
Well, you're on board the Syrnith.
Yes, the Liardi.
Oh yeah, we changed it. You're on board the Liarde because the ship you were on is currently on fire.
She turns around and she looks and she touches the bandage you put on her forehead, and she says, "How did I get here?"
I brought you here.
And then she points at the burning ship and she says, "How did I get there?"
That I don't know.
So back to the burning ship. Let's see. Actually, how many, everybody hold up fingers, how many raises they have left. 2, 4. You still 4 raises left. Okay. Vicky, you have the most raises. Who goes next?
No, I have 2. I have 3 left.
Yeah, you have 3 left. Okay. So let's see, that means it's who else has 3? Somebody else has 3. Yes. Okay. Karis, you haven't got to do this yet. Who gets to go first? Remember, it can be you.
Yeah, why don't I go ahead? I'll go ahead. And I'm still with my bullhorn, and now I'm yelling at not yelling, but kind of using the bullhorn to be very directive with those guards guys. What are they called? The
Brute Squad.
Yo, Brute Squad, this is what I need you to do. I need them to kind of like go and get some of the armaments, because we might need the armaments. And I have to tell them where it is. They have to get it, and then they have to like hurl it because they're brute. They're like these big brutish guys.
Sure.
And then there's Rubberman, of course, who can kind of like reach over and grab it if it looks like it's gonna fall in the ocean or something. But yeah, I have to convince them that they have to go around in the ship, and where to go in the ship to get the weaponry.
So they start tying bundles of muskets together and swinging them across on the lines of the ship from one ship to another. And so, yeah, you just added to the ship's armory because they're swinging weapons, swords, bundles of muskets, bags of things, all the bags of shot, bags of black powder, all that kind of stuff swinging over, trying to keep it away from the fire because you don't want black powder and fire to mix. That's very bad. Awesome. So that means, hey, Matthew, who goes next?
Leisha goes next.
Leisha!
So, while I'm on the ship and down in the captain's quarters of this ship, I know that my good friend Karis doesn't like wearing the clothes she's wearing. So I'm going to spend one of my raises, and I'm going to scrounge around for clothing that I think they would prefer to wear. So I'm going to find pants and shorts and tunics and all kinds of things. So anything that's not like busting and revealing, and I don't know if that would be like maybe like.
Well, you know how the captain dresses.
Well, how does this cap? I mean, I'm on a different ship, so why?
No. How your captain dresses?
Yeah, he dresses like a weirdo girl, but I'm hoping this, like, I mean, girls aren't weird, but he dresses like. No, that sounds so bad coming from me. He dresses oddly to my character, not Alicia, but my character, Cena. But Cena is looking for clothes on the other ship, so I'm hoping that that captain or people on that ship were wearing clothes that Karis's character would like to wear.
So it's loaded. And what kind of clothes do you find?
I find tunics and
Remember, it's a
of all
Vidace
different
ship.
colors.
It's a so there so
Oh,
so you
it's called
could I'll give you a
TNT.
suggestion. You can
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
take it or leave it. Is that they have a lot of really fine black leather
Yeah, I
because
love
that's
it.
yeah. Is that what you
I
find?
love it. Yeah, I found
Can they have
like
one of those Seinfeld puffy shirts?
Yes, you totally find
yeah.
Seinfeld puffy shirts. I
Sweet,
have one
yeah,
in my
in
closet.
leather.
Go get.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then Cena's gonna get one too. So Cena loves the feel of leather on her skin, even though she's from Castile. But yeah, I'm gonna grab some of those beautiful leather shirts and items, and I'm hoping maybe pants or shorts or something a little bit more. Karis, you want
Oh,
pants or shorts? What would
remember,
you? What were you?
you tell me what you find.
Right. So I guess I'm gonna like telepathically remember what Karis was complaining about on the ship about their clothing. So what kind of clothing were you complaining that you would rather be wearing?
Like, what is it with this foofy skirt? What am I supposed to do with this skirt? Like, I need some serious like cargo pants with like
Done.
pockets and stuff. All right, there
Done. So Cena's remembering as she's rifling through all these things that Karis they need pants with pockets and cargo-y and a little bit more baggier in the crotchal area and like a nice
Crotchal
leather
area.
top. So that's what Cena finds.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Matthew, who goes next?
I'll go next. I'm leading into the warfare part
Okay.
of it, and knowing that there's been battles before, I'm going to assume that there is hidden items because it wouldn't be that hard to walk in and grab the captain's log. So what else is hiding here? So
Okay.
I'm going to try and bash in the wall to reveal something.
To find a hidden compartment?
Yeah,
Do you want me to offer you a hero point to tell you what you find?
sure.
Okay. So you do find a hidden compartment under the captain's desk. And in it, in the world of 7th Sea, there are what are called Syrnith Artifacts. These are ancient relics from a long forgotten race from a long time ago. They're kind of like Atlantean stuff. And you find this golden actually, wait a second, I'll show you what you find. Oh, where is it? Where's my I don't have one here. Oh, actually, I'll just use this. There it is. Ugh. You find this.
Ooh,
Mhm.
that's cool, Matt.
Would I know that shouldn't be on his ship, on their ship?
Well, it's a Syrnith artifact, so it's not supposed to be anywhere but in a museum.
Okay. Well, I will hold on to that closely.
Yeah, looks very fragile. Looks like if you drop it, it'll break. You shouldn't drop it. Don't drop it.
Yeah, I find it. I think that's all I've got. Besides, probably making it back to the. If we haven't heard any other people screaming or anything, I'll probably make it back to the others.
Okay.
Our ship.
Who has raises left?
Alicia.
Awesome. Okay. You can spend them to find more things or tell me more things about the ship, or you can bank them for hero points, whichever you want to do. So, who wants to? Does anybody want to spend more raises to find more things, or do you want to
I'm
bank
gonna
them?
go down into the cargo hold and see if there's anything down there.
Sure. What? Remember, you get to tell me what you find.
Okay,
You haven't found any gold yet.
right. So I'm going to the cargo hold using my wits and scholarship. What do I see?
You tell me what you see, or do you want me to buy you your raise with a hero point?
I suck at imagination.
It's okay. I can offer you a hero point and tell you what you find.
Okay.
All right. So you get a hero point, and you find barrels and barrels and barrels of something more valuable than gold. Rum.
Ooh.
And wine. Vadace
Ooh.
wine.
Okay.
Now, these are barrels, so you're going to need help getting them off the ship.
I'm going to call up to the brute squad and ask them to help me.
So Matthew, you and your brute squad hear Vicky's character shouting up saying, "I've found rum."
I will have them go. I will stick with the artifact
Mm-hmm.
and just have them go get the rum.
So, Vicky, a couple moments later, the brute squad shows up and they, "Yeah, what you got?"
Barrels of juice, man. Rum.
So they start carrying, they use their action and they carry the rum and wine over to the other ship. Awesome. Who has raises left? Karis, do you have any raises left?
You have 2 left.
Okay. Do you want to bank them for hero points, or do you want to use it to find something on the ship?
There's still one other thing that I know is on the ship that I have to, again, sort of yell over and direct people to where to go, and then it's the charts and maps, because we're really going to need those. Yeah. And so I have to tell people exactly where it is, because it's not kind of your traditional sort of big parchment paper kind of rolled up and you roll it out and there's your chart and map, but actually the Vadace people, Vadace people, we're very smart. I might not be. I have 0 scholarship, so what the hell do I know?
But we got a 4 wits.
Yeah, I got like plenty of wit. So what we do is we actually carve it into some of the planks, the ones that Matthew, so I don't know, he knocked them in, but that's okay. Now they're easier to grab and to take with them and put back together for the map.
Awesome. So you grab, so yeah, you grab the planks, bring them over, and actually let me make this suggestion. So hidden with the Syrnith artifact are all the charts and maps, but carved on the back of the wood is a treasure map.
Yeah. Perfect.
Aha. So yes. Yeah. Awesome.
So I don't do that. They have to do it because I'm like across yelling because I have nothing to get across. So I'm yelling at them to do that.
Awesome. Alicia, how do you want to use your raises?
I think I'm going to bank them and get off of the ship.
Okay. You are safely off the ship before it explodes. Matthew?
I'm off the ship and already trying to figure out why this page was important to be ripped out.
Vicky, got anything left, or do you want to bank your raises?
Okay, so did Matthew grab the stuff that Karis told him about?
Not yet. Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna go do that, and then I'm gonna get back.
All right. So everybody gets off the ship. We got the secret map. We got the charts and maps, and then the ship explodes in a huge Michael Bay explosion that takes up the entire screen. And the important thing about maps and charts, by the way, in the 17th century is that they are literal state secrets. So imagine for a second, like you are the country of England, and you have people charting and mapping out North America for the first time. Europe is, and you bring back all the charts and maps. These are really super detailed maps of the coast, maps of the sound, which is how deep the water is, and all these things. And Spain doesn't have these. Doesn't know how far away North America is. Doesn't know what the waters are like. Doesn't know where the safe places to port are. So charts and maps on ships are incredibly valuable. So valuable, in fact, captains are ordered to destroy them if they're captured by pirates. So Charts and maps, very valuable. So you have the charts and maps. You have this, what looks like a treasure map carved into the backside of a thing. And you have a young Vodache girl who is very confused and looks very concerned.
Given that Karis and I are both from Vodache and can recognize Sorte stuff, does she look like she's got the markings of a fate?
Well, there is a way to tell, because if you can use fate magic, you can look at someone and tell if they can use it.
Okay.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Using fate magic costs you a hero point.
Okay.
So you spend a hero point, and yes, she does indeed have that fate witch aura around her.
Okay, so she was probably kidnapped or something.
She does have a big gouge on her forehead, and she doesn't remember how she got here.
Right.
She says, "Where are we?"
We just
And she only speaks in Vodache.
Okay.
Oh, good to know.
I would respond to her. I'm also from Vodache, but I'm the linguist, so I could speak, read, and I also have direction sense, so I could be the literal. Oh, we're here.
You
I've
point
got
at a map and you go,
Yeah.
"We're here."
Yes, I will be the literal. I've got the direction. I know exactly where we are.
So she looks at the map, and you can tell she has no idea how to read it. None. And for a moment, she like pretends to know what you're talking about because she's trying to hide the fact that she doesn't understand.
Okay, using my empathy ability, I'm
Okay.
gonna, just kind of get a sense of, what she's feeling if she's afraid. She, as a doctor, obviously, she's got amnesia of some sort. And, you poor girl, and I'm gonna take her down below deck and tend to her wounds some more. And
So I'm not gonna make you roll for anything because you're a doctor and things, and experts should be able to be experts in a game. So what you learn is that her name is Elena Mondavi, and being from Vodache, you know that Mondavi is one of the most powerful merchants in Vodache. He's incredibly powerful and very wealthy, and she is his oldest daughter. And you also learn that she has no idea where she is or how she got here. But the last thing she remembers was she was at the celebration party for her wedding.
What?
Well, for her engagement, actually, because she's not married yet.
yeah, did she disappear on purpose to avoid the wedding, or did she, or was she really kidnapped?
She has no idea. Now, meanwhile, up top, Harry from up top, he says, "Captain, there's a sail on the eastern side of the ship." And as you look, yeah, there's a sail on the eastern side of the ship. It looks like a Vodache ship.
So
She's
so
not
Vodache kind of like, if I've understood it correctly, Vodache has these different merchants that are fighting amongst each other. It's not kind of all
Oh yeah,
Vodache is not like, oh, we all get along and kumbaya land. It's not that at all.
it's
So
it's supreme Machiavellianism.
oh yeah, lovely. Okay, so I feel really special. So I think one of the things
Yeah, we
is
also
yeah, go ahead.
we also know that fate witches are forced into marriage,
Yes, they are.
and not only is she in danger, but so are you and I, because
You're not supposed to be out here wearing pants.
and nor are we supposed to be able to read or anything. And who is our fiancés? Just saying.
And I'm wondering, I have a virtue of illuminating to figure out whether or not Elena Mondave is really telling us the truth about not remembering how she got there. Whether, like, I think Vicky was alluding to the fact, or maybe you were, John. I'm sorry, that
Sure.
perhaps there's she might remember, but she might not be fully truthful.
So
I
would
don't
you
know,
like to
somebody said that.
use your illuminating advantage to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Spend a hero point, and you can use illuminating.
Okay, so I will do that.
She is telling the truth. She is Elena Mondavi. She is supposed to be married to somebody else, and she has no idea why she's here.
Okay.
So as the Vidace ship comes closer, they start signaling to you. And the signals say, prepare for approach.
I think Cena thinks that this girl who seems to be dumb as a rock and not really knowing things, I think we should hide her. Like, she's got a gash on her head. You guys say she doesn't know where she's at. I don't feel comfortable with a ship approaching us. Cena, I would hide her.
What do you all think?
I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna add on to Alicia's kind of hider. Can I do that? I know I can do anything, but I just want to make
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, we're not rolling
Okay.
dice. We're just,
Yeah.
role playing.
Okay. So of course now I have on my. I'm just so happy and so glad about my puffy shirt and my leathers and my cargo pants. But I'm wondering if we should put them on Elena, and put a big hat on. Now I'm using my wits. Put a kind of hat on her.
Yeah.
And put some of the soot from the all you guys brought all this soot
From
put
the
some of
black
the soot
powder?
on her from the black powder, put it on her face to make her look like she has a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow, so that if we hide her and she's found, she won't look like her. She may look like a guy and they wouldn't have any interest. And I'll go ahead and put
Like
back
that.
on my busty garb.
What do you all think of that plan?
I love it.
Matthew, what do you think?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Vicky, what do you think of that plan?
I think it sounds good.
All right. So you start dressing Elena up in the stuff, and the clothes are all too big for her because she's very small. So, she looked, and she says, why am I dressed like this?
Can you tell her that we're not sure who's approaching? That we need to just conceal her for now. I'm assuming she's asking because she's just talking words and I don't understand.
Well, here's the thing. We're going to use an old Star Wars role-playing game rule called the Wiki Rule. And yes, exactly. So the Wookiee rule works like this. As long as Han Solo is in the room, everybody understands Chewbacca. That's how the Wookiee rule works. So because Matthew has linguist, we just assume narratively, cinematically, that he's translating for everybody. So everybody can speak to Elena.
Okay, cool. I think that we need to... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, she says, why am I dressed like this?
I honestly, because I don't think that you're probably in the wrong place at the wrong time, and since you only remember your engagement party, I'm afraid that the ship that's about to connect to us is looking for you, and I don't think I'm ready to give you up because I'm worried.
My family is looking for me?
Oh, how would I know if it's your family? Wait, you don't know how to know if it's your family?
It's a ship.
Elena, well, I don't know if it's your family, but I think we should hide you.
Just in case it's the bad guys that blew up the other ship. We want to make sure to protect.
Oh, all right. So the ship approaches. Elena's in disguise.
I've prepared my weapon, just my gun. Like, they're having this conversation while she's getting dressed, and I'm like just staring outside the door, translating. And she's like preparing a weapon, getting ready.
So as the ship approaches, it is a Vidace merchant ship. So it's a galleon. It's a huge ship. big, huge ship, and it has lots of guns. You guys are outgunned by this ship,
Oh.
right? But your ship is faster, so you will be able to get away if you need to. The other ship is a big, handsome, Vodace captain with, the big, handsome goatee, and his hair is curly, and he has this big Italian afro, and he's swarthy. He has darker skin, and he just looks like as yummy as chocolate. And he kicks down the side of the thing that lowers a plank between your ship and his ship. And behind him is a woman, looks matronly. She looks old enough to be somebody's mother, and she's wearing a black veil that you cannot see through. And those of you from Vodace know that the women of Vodace all wear veils because the men believe that if a Vodace fate witch looks you in the eye, they can kill you. So all the women wear black veils. And she follows him across the plank, and you hear the wood of the plank creaking as his big leather boots cross across. And he gets to the edge of the ship, and he says, permission to board. And the captain, he says, oh, you got permission aboard yet? And so he comes across, and the woman comes across with him. And he stands there with his arms. He has the handsome sword, and he looks like he came off of a romance novel cover, right? And he's got his arms crossed across his broad chest, and when she speaks, it's in this soft, delicate, almost musical voice. And she says, I'm looking for my daughter.
Oh no. Stina doesn't like this at all. Stina doesn't. Do they always wear black? Is black normal Vodace attire all the time?
Yep.
Okay.
There has never been a time in human history when it wasn't cool to wear black.
Okay. So Sina would stand guard and really structured and say, your daughter. Well, what do you mean you're looking for your daughter?
So her head under the veil slowly starts scanning all across the deck.
Is their magic going to be able to understand that her daughter's in disguise?
You don't know how fate magic works.
Yeah.
All you know is that if fate witches look at you, they can kill you.
I believe that from Castile too.
Oh, it's up to you what your character believes. I don't tell you what your character believes, but
I don't believe in that trash. I'm gonna look her right in the eye when she stands across me.
So, Vicky, Karis, you two are fate witches, so you know what she's doing. She's looking for her daughter's aura.
Oh, snap. Snap.
So, the captain snaps his fingers, and two sailors from the other side bring this huge treasure chest across the plank, and they drop it on the deck, and it makes this heavy sound on the wood. And they open it, and it is filled with gold coins. And he says, in his big baritone sexy voice, he says, that for the girl.
Stina straight up shakes her head, and in my mind I'm thinking, are they giving us a dowry to give up this girl? I'm even stuck more in my resolve. I'm not giving her up. I'll fight to the musketeer's death. I'm not giving the girl up. So
Karis,
I'm so ready to do something with all this rum right now with this hot, swarthy dude, and I'm wearing my busty outfit. I am all about it. And I'm thinking, before we do anything, really before we engage in any kind of transaction, should there be a transaction to be had, we have to drink. I mean, come on, we're Italian, hello. So I and I'm just trying to buy some time. I'm really trying to buy some time, and I'm trying to get people a little, you know.
Okay. Vicky, what's your character thinking right now?
Hmm.
My character's conflicted because
Tell me more.
I want to save her, but she doesn't know that she wants to be saved. She wants her mommy. And if this truly her mommy, is there any way that I know for sure that it's her mom?
No. Not from here, just looking at her, no. Actually, there is a way to do it. You're a fate witch. You can see, because the way fate magic works is you can see fate strands that link people together. So, for example, you and your friends all have a friendship strand
Right.
that links you together. And then people who owe each other money have a financial strand that links them together.
So
And things.
they should have a familial.
They
strength.
should. Do you want to spend a hero point and activate your fate magic and see if they do?
Yes.
Okay. So you concentrate, and it's like looking at fate strands is kind of like looking at those 3D pictures
Mhm.
where you have to like look through them in order to see it.
Mhm.
And you do see a strand coming from the woman to Elena, who's like behind the rest of the crew, right? And it isn't a familial strand, it's a black strand, which means that this woman wants to kill her.
Well, then hell no.
Matthew, what is
Well,
your character's reaction to all this?
I have a quick question. Would we have been able to ascertain that, since we know the Medaves are such a big entity, when we have established that by the ship that approached, if they had some kind of signage on the ship as well?
Do you have sailing
Mhm.
or scholarship?
Neither.
You don't have either? You have wits though, right?
Yeah, I've got 2 wits.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and roll your 2 wits for me? Do you want to spend a hero point so you can roll an extra die?
I have a different plan for what I want to do. I was just curious, so I'll roll this.
Oh,
But
okay. Go ahead. Do whatever you want to do. Don't
well,
make
I would take as like the old brash kind of soldier way, look at the money and kind of spit on the ground and be like, there's one true way to settle things like this, and that's with alcohol. And I'd look and I'm like, I challenge whoever is your strongest drinker, 1-on-1. Whoever can last gets the lady that you speak.
Interesting. Okay. So Karis has also suggested drinking.
Mhm.
Matter with us.
One of
What's
my
the matter
advantages,
with us?
no, one of my advantages is able drinker. Alcohol never adversely affects me.
Yes,
So
that's true.
I would be able to drink them under the table.
Well, I'll
with-
tell you what.
Hopefully.
If they don't have that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, if they don't also have able drinker.
Well, the captain of the ship, he looks at you, and he looks at Karis, and he shakes his head, and he says, "This is a simple transaction. We want to buy property from you."
Where is the land that you're talking about? Where is this property? On what island?
The property is the property of the Mondavi family.
At this point, I don't believe you're the mother or the father. Just show proof that you are the birth givers, and we'll talk.
So the woman with the black veil, she steps forward toward you.
My hand's on my gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna-
And she walks right up to you, so you can smell the cream on her skin. You can smell the perfume in her hair. You can feel the wistful, the wisty little, the sensation of the veil, almost against your skin. And she says, do not make me kill you.
I'll lean in a little bit closer and I'll be like, I like to see you try.
Oh shit. I mean, shit.
My hubris is stubborn by nature.
Hey, you get a hero point.
I will die for this lady that we met, an hour ago.
I love us so much.
So the two Fate Witches know what she's about to do, because Fate Witches can kiss you and they can give you curses.
So as she's leaning in to kiss, I'm going to just like stumble and knock him out of the way. And I'm going to kiss him and bless him.
And what? I'm sorry?
I'm going to kiss him and bless him.
Bless me. She's gonna kiss me.
Oh, okay. So you spend a hero point for the blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Now what this means, Matthew, is that so what kind of blessing are you going to give him? Are you going to give him because it depends on like the strands. So you could give him a financial blessing, you could give him an action blessing, you can give him a romance blessing. I would suggest giving him an action blessing because that might be coming up here really quick. And so Matthew, let me ask you, how big do you want the blessing to be? You can do 1, 2, or 3. And for each one, you are going to take a penalty, because in order to bless somebody, you have to take penalties. So how much do you want to do? 1, 2, or 3?
2.
2. Okay. So Matthew, whenever you take an action in the next scene, you're going to roll 2 bonus dice.
Okay.
However, because it is 7, well, for me, it's 7:15. We have 15 minutes left. The episode ends right there on a cliffhanger, because 7C, one of the rules, it has to end on a cliffhanger.
Don't we have 45 minutes?
Do we have 45 minutes?
You got
We got
45.
45 minutes. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought we ended at 7:30. Okay.
I'm very intent on punching her in the face. Just saying. I've got the weapon. I will brute force the butt of the gun at her when you let me. Just
Okay. So we're about to start an action scene. And what that means is just like every other scene, I need you to tell me what your approach is going to be. And I'm going to let you know what the conditions of the scene are. So the conditions of the scene are the other ship has cannons that it can fire at the ship, at your ship. They probably won't do that because the captain of the ship and this woman are on it, but it's Vidace and they're treacherous bastards. So there's that. Also, the captain, I'll let you know that the captain and the mother are both villains, which means
they get 2 dice.
What's that?
They get 2 bonus dice. Right?
Oh, no, they get 2 bonus dice if you're wounded. You're not wounded.
Oh, good. Okay.
But villains get to roll dice. So they're like you. They roll dice, and then they get to take actions based on their approach.
Oh.
Okay? So they're
Do we
both the
get to
captain.
know their approach?
I'm going to tell you what their approach is.
Okay.
The other circumstance is that there are 3 brute squads on the Vidace ship that they can call on to swing over and fight for them. But on your ship, you have 2 brute squads. So they kind of cancel each other out, so they really only have 1. So those are the conditions of this scene. And things are going to happen. Remember, you get to for this scene, it's going to be an action scene, so you will probably want to have an approach that will help you with action type things, but not necessarily. So with all that in mind, Vicky, what is your approach for this scene?
Resolve and weaponry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, remember, the rank of your skills don't tell you how good you are at something. They only tell you how many dice you roll. Because you're going to tell me how good you are at things. It only determines how many raises you're going to have.
Okay.
So, Matthew, what's your approach for this scene?
Well, I've got a quick question.
Sure.
For the hero points, how many are we able to spend per? Is it just
You can
one?
spend as many as you want.
Can you split them? Like if I want to give one to someone and then use the rest on me as well, or is it just one thing?
Well, if you spend a hero point, you have to either spend it on yourself or someone else.
Right. If I spend it on someone else, could I use the others on myself?
Yes, you can use another hero point on yourself.
Okay, perfect. Do we announce that now or later?
Yeah, tell me how you want to spend your hero points.
I would like to give one hero point to Alicia.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Alicia, that means you roll 3 extra dice.
I've got a lot. So one to Vicky, and then one to Karis, and then I still have one for myself.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna get rid of all.
Well, hold on. I should add this. You can only help one person at a time.
Okay. I guess I will help Alicia.
Okay.
First. Yeah.
Karis, what's your approach?
My approach will be Brawn, and
Brawn and Brawl.
Probably Brawn and Brawl. I was thinking, could Brawl be the blunt end of a weapon, like my my gun? Like I'm just like imagining that being the case. Okay.
Sure.
So Brawn and Brawl, and I will spend a hero point on myself. Can I help myself and someone at the same time?
Yes. Helping someone is free.
Okay. So I will myself. 1.
Okay. Karis, what is your approach for this scene?
So I think this will be the first time me trying this, but I think I will try, and maybe they go together. Hold on. What is resolve again? That's endurance, right?
Resolve is being tough. It's walking through fire.
Okay, so I think I'm going to do resolve and weaponry.
That makes total sense. It means that you're the person who is walking through the battle getting hit and you just don't care.
Yeah, okay.
Awesome. Alicia, what is your approach?
Resolve and athletics, and I'm going to use it to protect Elena.
You tell me how you use it when you get your raises.
Oh, okay,
all I need to know is your approach.
Okay, then
awesome.
Finesse and resolve and athletic.
Awesome. So everybody roll your dice and then look at your raises. I'm going to fill my cup because my throat is really dry. I will be right back so you guys can plot while I'm out of the room.
Then 1, 2. I only got 2 this time, guys. 2. My heart has been racing so much that I closed one of my rings on my Apple Watch, and I've been sitting for 2 hours.
I have 6. I'm very, very determined today. We didn't get the combat last week. I'm giving you guys the combat.
I know. I'm so excited. But I don't want you to get hurt. So do we believe that this is really her mom?
No.
She doesn't.
So.
No.
She for sure knows. I'm just like, if you really cared about your daughter, you shouldn't have let her get in trouble in the first place.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, why was she at her engagement party by herself or like not being protected if her family is so important, Like, can you imagine if Queen Elizabeth was at her engagement party and got kidnapped before she was the queen? Like
it almost happened more than once.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Here comes Mr. John with the history in your lap.
But yeah, also don't worry about me, Alicia, as I do have the soldier background. I have an advantage called Riot Breaker also to deal with brute squads.
Yes, you do.
So I went hard because I could.
So John, I have a question. I rolled my 5 regular die, and then I got 3. Then I get to roll 3 more dice because of the hero point.
Because Matthew gave you a hero point, so you get to roll 8 dice total.
Oh, okay, cool. So I had a 9 and a 4. Oh wait, you can take numbers and make them. If I had a 9 and a 6, I could still make that a 10, right?
Yep.
Oh, so then I got 3 last time. That's good. 2 more dice. 7. That's a 10. Okay, I got 4.
Awesome. So, how many raises did everybody get? Vicky, how many raises did you get?
3.
4. Matthew, how many did you get?
6.
6. Okay.
Oh,
Karis, how many did you get? You got 3? Awesome. Okay. So, Matthew, you have the most raises. Who goes next?
Oh, I'm going first.
Remember, you can
Oh,
pick the villains.
I
Oh, I should hold on. I should do this. I should tell you what
I
the
gotta
villains
roll.
are doing. Okay, so the captain's approach is finesse. Is finesse plus weaponry. And he got 1. Oh, he rolled. I have the GM's curse. I roll like crap. He got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 raises.
Dang.
Okay, and the mother, her approach is going to be, she's going to do wits plus warfare.
Hmm.
And she got a bunch of 2s and 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4. She got 5 raises. So they both got 5 raises. Okay. So, Mr. 6 raises, who goes first?
I would like to go first, and then I will
Mhm.
give it to the woman.
Okay.
I would like to. I'm gonna look at her because she's already in my face. I'll be like, we wanted to settle this with alcohol, but I guess we're gonna settle it with blood. And I'm going to just go straight for the face with the
You're going to
blunt
smash
of
her
the
with her
weapon.
gun?
Yep, just like right as hard as I can.
Okay. So, how many oh, I get to do my thing. Hold on one second. Let me do
Oh,
my-
the thing, yes.
Yeah, the thing. I get to do the thing. Hold on one second. So the I want you guys to look at your character sheet, and you guys will see something called yep, here we go. Let me do this. You guys will see something called the death spiral.
That's awesome.
So the death spiral is loaded with 2 kinds of wounds. The first are just normal wounds, which are little circles. And the next are the stars. And those stars are called dramatic wounds. And every time, and what's going to happen is I'm going to tell you, you take 5 wounds and you just start marking down the spiral. The circles don't mean anything. You're a big damn hero. Little wounds don't get in your way. But when you hit a dramatic wound, it changes how the game works. So, for example, Matthew, on your character sheet, what happens when you take your first dramatic wound?
+1 bonus die on all wrists.
That's right. If you're wounded, you get tougher. You roll a bonus die on all your risks. So if you get hurt, you roll more dice. However, Alicia, what happens when you take
Yeah.
2 dramatic wounds? What's your second dramatic wound do?
Oh no, I don't have that.
You don't have that on your character sheet?
No.
Okay, we'll go back. That's okay. We'll go back to Matthew. Matthew, what happens when you take your second dramatic wound?
The villains gain 2 dice.
That's right. So when you get to your second dramatic wound, the
Mm.
villains roll 2 bonus dice. It's cumulative. So if 2 heroes have wounds, it means the villains roll 4 bonus dice. Matthew, since you have your character sheet right there, what happens when you hit the third dramatic wound?
Your 10s explode.
Your 10s explode, which means if you roll a 10, a 0 on your D10, you grab another die and add it to your pool. So you get to roll more dice. And then finally, Matthew, what is the 4th dramatic wound?
You are helpless.
That's right. So helpless means you can't take any actions unless you spend a hero point. So if you become helpless, you have to start spending hero points to take actions. Now, you may notice that when you run out of wounds, you don't die in this game because you're a big damn hero, and big damn heroes don't die unless villains kill you. Because the only way you can die in this game is if a villain kills you. So what's going to happen is that if one of you reaches helpless, one of the villains can spend one of their raises and say, I kill that character. Now that action takes place at the end of the round when everybody is out of raises. So I say the villain's going to kill you, and any hero can stop that from happening in two ways. One, you spend a hero point to stop it, or two, you spend the rest of your raises to stop it. Okay? By the way, just so you know, in this game, all NPCs are considered helpless. So a villain can walk into your favorite pub and just start killing people by spending raises. So if someone becomes helpless during this fight, the villains will start killing people, and you'll have to stop them. So with that in mind, Matthew, you smash the villain across the face with the butt of your gun. Every raise you spend is a wound. How many raises do you want to spend? You want to say all of them, don't you?
I do, but I know that would be very, very bad in the long run for me. Let's go with, I'll spend 2, so I'll use 3 sets of my 6.
Okay, so by the way, what are your advantages? Tell me what your advantages are.
My advantages are Able Drinker, Direction Sense, Eagle Eye, Linguist, Riot Breaker, and Survivalist.
Okay, so you don't have any of the fencing schools. So you smash her across the face and do 2 wounds to her. She's very unhappy with you.
And my quirk is earn a hero point when you stick to the plan regardless of the danger to yourself, and I will go down with this ship. So when it comes to that, if I have to.
Awesome. Matthew, well, actually you have 4 raises now.
Yep.
Oh, actually, no, you spent 2, so you have 3 raises now. Or no, you had 6, so you had no. Tell me.
I had 6.
Okay.
And doing damage, does that only make 2? Or
you
does
only
it say
spent 2.
I hit her and I re-raise to do the 2 damage? Oh, then
so
I have got 4.
Yeah, so you have 4. However, the villains have 5. So the villains decide who goes next. So the captain is going to decide he goes next. And he draws his sword before you can even see it. It is fast. And he plunges his sword at your chest. And all of you see the blade pierce his abdomen and come out the back of his back. Now, he has an advantage called Duelist. He has a dueling school, which means every raise he does a number of wounds equal to his weaponry. So if he has a 5 weaponry, he spends 1 raise, he does 5 wounds. He spends 3 raises. He does 15 wounds.
Wow.
See, you smack the lady, shit happens. I'm just saying.
Wear a helmet.
I don't know that a helmet would have helped that action. That's just.
So I'm at the 3rd star.
You're at the 3rd star.
All right, now my 10s explode. Okay.
Your 10s explode, and you roll 1 bonus die. But you're also 5 wounds away from being helpless. So right. So he has 4 raises, or no, he had 5, and he spent 3, so he has 2 raises left. Now the other villain, she has 5 raises, and Fate Witches, you see her reach forward and grab something that isn't there. That's because she's grabbing a fate strand, and she twists it.
Oh no.
And she is grabbing Alicia, what's your character's name?
Cena.
She grabs Thena's fate strand and she twists it. And she is going
Do
to
I
spend.
feel that?
You do. You feel like
Oh.
someone is grabbing your future.
This is
And
right, y'all. I
twisting it.
can't have that.
And
no.
and you just feel like all the strength comes out of your arms.
Oh God, I don't like that.
So what's going to happen is the next action you take, she's going to spend 1 raise, and the next action you take, you have to spend an additional raise, whatever it is.
Crap. Okay.
She's down to 4 raises. Who else has 4 raises? All right, Alicia, you decide who goes next. Because heroes always go first.
I guess I will go and deal with this conundrum. So, since I have to give up an additional, right? That's what you said. It's an extra.
Yeah, whatever you do, whether you spend 1 raise because it's in your approach or 2 raises because it's outside your approach, you have to spend an additional raise.
Okay. So I guess I'm gonna am I close to her, or like she literally just like reached out into the atmosphere and pulled out my fate strand?
Distance doesn't matter because you're a hero. You can jump across the ship and, you know.
Okay. I'm gonna get to Elena and just kind of like stand in front of her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens then is that you feel Elena's hands on your shoulders and you feel her breath on your ear, and she says something in Vodace that you don't quite understand, and then you feel her kiss your cheek.
Oh my God, am I dying?
And
Ultimate betrayal.
And suddenly, for all action things, you get 3 as a matter of fact, just roll them now. Roll 3 dice.
Okay.
And that's how many bonus raises you get.
Well, shit, fate didn't help me. I got a 2, and a 3.
A 2 and a 2 and a 3?
That doesn't even equal anything but a 7.
Well, I'll tell you what, you get 1 bonus raise.
Okay.
I cheat.
I'll take it. I'll take it. +1. Okay.
And you hear Elena wince behind you.
Oh no. Why?
You'll find out in a moment. Hey, let's see. Who has the most raises? Matthew, who goes next?
I kind of want to see our captain go.
You want to see the captain go? Okay.
Yeah, the blind captain. I want to see what he's got.
So the blind captain shouts something indecipherable. That was the word I was looking for earlier. Shouts something indecipherable, and the brute squads just jump on the villains. Just all 20 of our brute. Hey, puppy! Is that a puppy or a kitty? Hey, kitty! The brute squads just jump on the. They're not going to jump on the Fate Witch because she's scary, but they're going to jump on the big romance novel cover guy. And because they're 2 rank 10 brute squads, they are going to cause. Let's see, they can each spend. Let's do a little quick math. They do 10 wounds to the big guy. So he takes 10 wounds. All right, Matthew, who goes next?
Let's have Karis go next.
Karis, what do you want to do?
I really want to run away. This stuff is scaring me.
Heroes don't run away.
I know. Well, if it's Monty Python, they do. But that's not the point. So let's see. I am going to. Let's see. So who has 10 wounds? My honey bunch over there, the hot guy.
The hot guy has 10 wounds.
Okay.
Karis, don't you have like don't you have like the dueling advantage? The dueling school advantage?
No, I do not.
No? Okay. I'm thinking of
Um,
a different character. That's okay.
yeah, I have a lot of honest misunderstanding. Come hither. I could do a come hither.
Oh, that's right. You're playing the Fate
Yeah.
Witch. I was
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to use Fate magic?
Yeah, I don't quite understand how that.
What was just done to Matthew.
Pardon?
You can do to either one of to them what was just done to Matthew.
So what you can do
Okay.
is you can twist the evil captain's fate and force him to spend raises.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm using my advantage to do that. Okay, yes. So that's what I'm going to do.
Spend a hero point.
Okay.
And roll resolve.
Where is that?
It's one of your traits.
Okay, got it. Yep, got it. So roll resolve. Okay.
Yep, just your resolve.
Got it.
And then make raises out of your 4 dice, because I think you have a 4 resolve, right?
No, I have a 3.
Okay, so roll resolve. Do you want to spend any hero points before you roll?
No.
Okay.
So, and I already rolled, so that's why I was like, no. So I got Bupkis. So I got a 2, a 6, and a 7.
So you got 1 raise.
1 raise.
So from now on, in order for him to take an action, he has to spend an additional raise because you twisted his fate strand.
Okay, got it. That fate strand stuff is pretty gnarly.
It has consequences because fate
real life.
Because fate notices when you screw with it.
Karma, man.
I'm wanting to screw with somebody's fate right about now in real life, but this is a game, so we're all good. We're all good. Yeah.
All right, who has the most raises? You, Matthew. You get to go. You can say who goes next.
Get Vicky.
Vicky, what do you want to do?
Is the gangplank still down or is it up?
The gangplank is still down.
And is she positioned to where if I rushed her, I could shove her off?
Shove her off the ship?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I want to do that.
Remember, you tell me what happens next.
Okay. That's what I want to do.
Okay. Does that fall under your approach?
That was, yeah, I mean, I use finesse and weaponry.
All right. So what you do is you tell me that you rush forward and you just put your shoulder into her gut and you push her off the ship.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to offer you a hero point if you agree with me, is that as you do, she grabs you and pulls you off with her. I'll give you a hero point if you say yes.
I don't want to be in the water.
But wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, and as I'm going down, I'm going to stab her.
You don't have to roll dice. You just tell me what happens because you just spend raises. So She pulls you off with her and you stab her with the knife. How many raises do you want to spend to stab her with the knife?
2.
2. So she takes 2 wounds. So she's taken a total of 4. So you all see Vicky's character rush forward, shove her shoulder into the Fate Witch. The Fate Witch begins to plummet off the ship, but she grabs Vicky and pulls her with her as they both plummet off the ship into the deep water below.
Oh no.
Glug, glug, glug. All right. And Matthew, who goes next?
I'm going to throw it back to Alicia.
Alicia.
Okay. Yeah.
How do you want to spend your raises?
Okay, so Elena is behind me and she's winced. can I communicate with her, or do I have to have a translator?
No, you can turn around and you can look at her.
Okay, I'm gonna turn around and I'm going to lean in and whisper.
Well, when you turn
No.
when you turn around, you see that it looks like she has a gash across her cheek.
It's getting
Like
bigger?
Oh no, the original was on her forehead, right? But this one looks like someone hit her with a whip.
What?
The Fate Witches will know that the consequences of using Fate magic is sometimes the strands, when you pull them, whip you.
So my strand whipped her?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, snap. Okay, so when I turn around, like, Cena is just taken aback and says, is that really your mother?
No,
Do you remember?
that is not my mother.
Do you remember why you were on that ship yet?
No. Do you want to spend a hero point so she remembers?
Heck yeah, take all my points. Give it away.
So you spend a hero point, and the twisting the fate and the pain from the lash is she says, yes, I was kidnapped.
Good. I was right.
Dun dun
Okay.
dun.
I will protect you. I'll try.
All right.
Just follow me. And then can we I'm gonna slyly, since I used my finesse and athletics. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if this is like finesse and athletics, but no, I didn't. I used resolve. I didn't use finesse, I used resolve.
Use resolve and athletics, yeah.
Yeah. Can I start scooching us to a place that's got a corner of the ship, or a place that's got some cover to hide
So it'll
us?
be easier to defend her?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Cost you 2 raises.
That's cool. I'll take it. I still got 2 left. Okay. And
All right.
I think that's it.
Matthew, who goes next?
Let's have the villain woman. I'm curious about that at this point down there.
She's pissed off at you.
She is pissed off at you. She as her skirts drag both of you down, because she has those big heavy skirts, which Karis is not wearing. They drag you down.
Telling you about them damn skirts. I told you.
And this is actually where we get to leave off. As you are plummeting down, she pulls out a knife, and you can see that she's trying to aim for your throat. But just as she does, there's this blur of bubbles and water and everything, like you got caught in a tide pool or an undertow or something, and you go flipping around, and you're not exactly sure where you are. You're not exactly sure which way you're facing, whether you're facing the surface or the bottom of the water, and you think that you saw a shark's tail, and suddenly you're just under the water. And that's where we'll leave off for this session, because that's a good place to leave off.
What?
So that's how
Fair.
7C works.
Fair enough.
Wow.
The next thing I was just gonna go with the guy off the ship. I was gonna be like,
Follow
hey, let's
suit.
yeah, I was like, hey, let's go follow your lady, and I was just about to take him off with me.
So that's how 7C works, and I want to spend the last couple of minutes. First of all, do you already have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad. The way the game works. So one of the reasons that I was really excited to bring 7C to this project is because a lot of role-playing games, I won't mention any names, but some of them have the initials D&D, have an adversarial relationship between the game master and the players. There's a real sense of it's the players versus the GM, and the GM is at the very least challenging the players in certain ways. And one of the reasons that 7C works the way it does is because I wanted players to feel safe. Like when, like Vicky, when I offered you the hero point to say that she grabs you and pulls you with her, there's a couple things that add to the safety level of that. Number one, you know that your character is relatively safe because you can't die. And number two, I'm rewarding you with hero points, which make your character more powerful. So even though you're failing, you're getting hero points, which make you more powerful. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring that element into the game was because since you guys are going to be using role-playing games in a therapeutic environment, one of the things that's really important to that therapeutic environment is a sense of trust and a safe space. And so if you add a couple of table rules to any role-playing game, including D&D, you add, number one, your character can't die. I want you to consider this, adding this as a house rule. Even if your character reaches 0 hit points, that doesn't mean that you're dead. It means that your character is helpless, that you can't take actions. You're out of the fight, but you're not dead. And what that does, and when you watch players, once you add that rule, players become more bold because they know their characters can't die. And they start taking big risks with their characters because they will engage more with the game because they know their characters can't die. And the second rule that I want to encourage you to look at and consider when you're running any game, including D&D, is the idea of the player telling the GM what happens next. So when you're playing D&D and a character rolls high, that means you tell them how their character succeeds. And if they roll low, that tells them how their character fails. You tell them how their character fails. What I want you to try is if they roll high, they tell you, the GM, how their character succeeds. And if they roll low, they tell you how their character fails. And again, this is entirely motivated toward getting players to feel safe to narrate their character's story so that they feel safe in saying, oh, my character fails, but this thing happens so that I don't get killed, or this thing happens that something else happens. Another way to do this is to say, if you roll high to the player, so Alicia, if you roll high in D&D, you're a thief and you're trying to pick a lock. Okay, you roll high, that means that the player tells the GM what happens next. And then if Alicia, if you roll low, that means the GM says what happens next. So rolling doesn't involve success or failure at all. What rolling determines is who gets to say what happens next in the story. And what happens is that, so for example, you're trying to pick the lock because there's a monster chasing all of you and you have to get past this locked door. And you roll low. That means the GM says what happens next. And I say, you pick the lock. You succeed, even though you rolled low, because what rolling low means is that the GM says what happens next. You successfully pick the lock, but a poison trap goes off and you get a poison needle in your hand. And now you're going to die in 2 hours unless you get the antidote. So again, rolling high and rolling low doesn't have anything to do with success or failure. It has to do with who says what happens next and how. As a matter of fact, the player could say that. So let's say that, Matthew, you're the GM, and I'm the thief picking the lock, and I roll high. And Matthew, as you, the GM, you say, John, what happens next? And I say, I successfully picked the lock, but I get hit with a poison needle, and I'm going to die in 2 hours unless I get the antidote. And the way you encourage players to do that is you reward them with a mechanic. And in D&D, what I do is when players say that they fail, or they add a complication like the poison needle, I give them inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever they narrate how they fail, or they narrate a complication, I give them inspiration and stuff like that. I also have a bowl in the center of the table with D4s in it. The painful D4 to sit to And whenever players add something cool to the story, like when you guys narrated who the captain was, you guys each added a detail to who the captain was. At that end of the round, I would put a D4 in that pool. And I just keep putting D4s in the pool whenever the players come up with something really cool. There was I can't remember what it was, but one of you said something. I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's awesome. That would have been a circumstance of me putting a D4 in the pool. And the rule is players, when they're about to roll dice, they can take a D4 out of the pool and add it to their roll. So they're rolling a D20 and they roll a D20 and a D4 and they add them together. So again, all of this comes down to you want to reward, because, as my friend Jared likes to say, game design is mind control.
Mm-hmm.
You control players' behaviors by rewarding them with mechanics. I have a game that I'm going to be publishing in a year. It's called Galaxy XXX. It's the Barbarella role-playing game, where it's space opera with sex positivity. And one of the ways to resolve problems is with sex. It's
awesome.
just one of the ways you resolve problems. And I tell this to my game design buddies, and they're like, John, do you really think that you can get 4 middle-aged, 30-something males to sit down and pretend to have sex with each other?
Why not?
And I can tell them, yes, because the game rewards them for it. And I've seen it happen. I've seen straight cis males play gender-neutral characters, androgynous characters, feminine characters, and they all have sexual relations with each other because the game rewards them for it. So you can reward players for their activities in the game by using that D4 pool, by giving them inspiration, and all those things. You can do all of these things with a role-playing game just by shifting the relationship of the GM and the players from an antagonistic relationship to more like a relationship that we had tonight, which is me going, Karis, tell me what happens next. Or Vicky, tell me what happens next. Because I'm giving you the authority. I'm making the player the GM for a minute and saying, you can say what happens. And that kind of trust really builds fast. And it creates a safe space for the players to explore stories creatively, and helps them, do what you guys want to do. And that's kind of like my closing pitch for when I run 7C for a group. Do you guys have any questions about that? Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, I have tons of thoughts. I think I'm leaving tonight with more thoughts than I have had in quite a long time. I did not know that the mechanic between a DM and I teach Dungeons and Dragons and use it in a therapeutic approach, but I always use it the way you do, and I didn't know that wasn't the norm, because the first person I played D&D with asked me to narrate your failure, narrate your success. So I've always thought that was the relationship, but then like the DM would also create some of that narration after I told them what was going on. Then he or she would expand upon that and put in their flavor to weave in the story. So I had no idea that wasn't normal. So one, I learned like, wow, that's not normal. And I really enjoyed the idea of 7C having this, okay, you tell me, and then you rolled the die. Now you're really just spending the points that you rolled. And I really enjoyed that, to be able to say, yeah, this is what I want to do, because you always have to try and flavor it with game masters or storytellers. And I really enjoyed that mechanic, that I can tell you what I'm going to do, and then you added that to the story, and it just felt more of a natural role play and not a give and take, or I need to justify just to get a little bit of flavor or fun. So I really, really enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, one of the things in 7C is just one of the rules that's GM rules. It's a general GM rule. Is called say yes or roll dice. And what that means is the player says, "Can I do this?" And the two answers are yes or roll dice. And generally I use yes. It's like the player says, "Can I do this?" I'm like, "Yes, it's on your character sheet." So Vicky, you're like, "Can I tend her wounds?" I'm like, "Of course you can. You're a doctor. Yes, do that." So, and then when I'm uncertain about what's going to happen next, if I don't have a plan, that's when I say roll dice, because the dice will tell me what happens next.
Mm.
So that's the rule that I use. It's one of my primary GM rules: is say yes or roll dice.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I
Amy,
really
so-
like this approach because a lot of people that I work with, especially, well, I'm not working with people right now, but in public mental health, they have a lot of times there's such a lack of feeling of empowerment and autonomy, and people are always telling them what to do, and if they don't do it, they're non-compliant. That this really creates opportunities for people to be fully empowered in the game and not feel like the facilitator or the game master, if you will, is in control, that now they are in control. They get to kind of chart their destiny within the game. And failure sometimes, which can be very hurtful for people and hard for people, still has an element of success to it. So, which is kind of cool. And you can think about that and translate it, if we were like processing this out, kind of when in your life did you have a failure, but in fact, it led to some kind of success for you, rather than seeing the failure as an ultimate failure. So this is a pretty powerful way to kind of bring that out too. So that's pretty cool. Very cool.
I agree 100%. A friend of mine, her daughter is on the autism spectrum, and she has a lot of trouble with confrontation because she seizes up and she doesn't know what to do. And I was running Star Wars for her, and she's playing a Jedi character. And at one point she was telling me, I was on the bus and the kids were making fun of me and I didn't know what to do and I froze up. And she said, "But then I thought, what would my character do?" And suddenly she was unfrozen. And she started role playing her Jedi. And she was assertive and she was like, and she's a Jedi, so she's like, I have to do the right thing. I can't do an angry confrontational thing, type thing. And I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, and I agree about the failure too. It really opens up the idea that failure isn't definitionally bad. It's something that you can work with, right?
Yeah. Very cool.
Do you guys have any other questions or comments or anything? Awesome. Okay.
Good place to stop.
It is a good place to stop.
All right, Joe, you can stop streaming.
Yay. So I'm glad you guys had fun.